Street Talk with your host Reggie B. Come on, let's all join in. Free your voice, it's your choice, alright here. Oh, simply straight talk.
Hold on.
Now that's what I'm talking about. Jackson State, the sonic boom of the South, and Prairie View, the marching storm. Babe, they rocked at halftime.
I know, right? You know what?
What's that?
It bothers me when people don't support our HBCUs the way we should.
See, that makes me mad. Our historical black colleges were the first schools to allow us to get an education and play sports. Now we treat them like they don't even matter.
I'm willing to bet your next paycheck that people don't even know that Alcom State won the championship in 2018.
Exactly.
Our youth needs to know that we are supporting their talents and academic achievements.
Preach, my queen. I don't have anything against the other schools, but I just don't see how we can treat our HBCUs like they're secondhand.
Well, you know what? We are going to do our part and support our HBCUs.
You know what? I think I'm going to get me a drum major outfit and strut my stuff to help support the HBCUs.
Well, how about you just go to the games and spread the word? We want people to see the real thing and not you huffing and puffing while looking stupid after doing one of their steps.
Oh, I see. Okay, so now you got jokes, right? You got jokes now. All right.
Welcome to Simply Straight Talk with your host, Reggie Maddox. So don't get scared. You know we all about that real talk on the Simply Straight Talk show.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Simply Straight Talk show, and this is your host, Reggie Maddox. And let me tell you something. I have been waiting for this conversation. I have been waiting for this topic. I'm excited because this is something that is near and dear to my heart. This is something that I really want people to embrace. Today, we're going to be talking about why are we not supporting our HBCUs. Now, in the conversations that I've had with people, I've heard different reasons why people say, well, I'm not really familiar with HBCUs but we're going to get into that. Because I think people for some reason, people just got sort of these myths about HBCUs, and I really don't understand it. And one of the biggest myths about HBCUs is the potential for after graduation. So that I want to go ahead and squash today on this show because I want to set the record straight. Because I really feel like HBCUs are so important. They are so important, and I don't think people realize that we are losing our HBCUs. Now, I know for some people, they probably say, well, I don't understand it. There's all types of colleges right now. But for the African American, the black community, you need to understand the importance of HBCUs. You need to understand why we still need to support these colleges and universities. First, you got to understand something. Historically black colleges and universities now, they're most commonly called HBCUs, and they are defined by the Higher Education Act, which is, of 1965, which basically says that any historically black college or university that was established prior to 1964 whose principal mission was and is the education of black Americans, and that is accredited by a nationally recognized accreditation agency or association determined by the Secretary of Education. And first, people say, well, HBCUs are not accredited. Yes, they are. They are accredited. And I think a lot of people have this misconception because it's an HBCU, historical black college, that they don't meet the same standards as your traditional white colleges. But the fact is, they do. They absolutely do. Now, here's the thing. I think it's important to know that black colleges are iconic institutions, considerably more than centers of higher education, whether rural or urban, public or independent. They are repositories of history, art, culture, and politics. These campuses feature buildings with distinctive architecture, and they house priceless works by African American artists, muralists, writers, composers, and sculptors, man. And this is the thing that we're not taught about HBCUs, because many people don't really take time to really understand that every HBCU, historical black college. So when you hear me say HBCU, just know I'm talking about historical black college. Every historical black college has a very unique story to tell. And I think once you take time to really look into these stories, you're going to be amazed at not only how they came about, but why they exist. The people who invested and created these schools. And I think a lot of people miss out on that because, they don't look into the history of why these schools exist. Now, the libraries for some of these schools contains volumes of books, journals, monographs, and myriad products of research by African American scholars. Like I said, every black college has a story to tell. Think about it, okay? Let's think about this for a minute. Hampton University, the Emancipation Oak, the monument of United States colored troops who founded Lincoln University in Missouri, Jubilee Hall at Fisk University, named in honor of its renowned choral group that traveled the world raising money to support the school. See, these are the things that we're not taught. These are the things that many people don't really understand when they think about HBCUs. Now, you got to understand something. Let me tell you about HBCUs. HBCUs open the door of educational opportunity for many African Americans. Many. And because you got to understand something. African Americans were denied the right to education. So HBCUs were the only place that we could get an education. And many people feel like, well, that was then, this is now. I can get an education wherever I want. Why should I go to an HBCU? Because you got to understand some people had an understanding, or some people had the mindset that, okay, it's an HBCU, so only black people can go to HBCUs, which is a complete, total lie. HBCUs are open to any race, any gender. Now, you do have a couple schools, which we have Spelman, which is an all-female school, and we have, I'm going to say woman, because they are women. Spelman and Bennett College, which are the last two, which are all women schools. But I want to really talk about Bennett a little bit later, because Bennett College right now is going through some hard times. They had a drop in their enrollment in 2016, so they're trying to recover. And they're in the process of really trying to maintain their accreditation and get back on track. So, we need to kind of like step up and kind of help them out. So, but we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But you got to realize something. When African Americans were denied the right to education, the only place we could get an education was at our HBCUs. Jackson State University, Grambling University, Tuskegee University, Morehouse University, Cheney College, Talladega, Clark Atlanta. These were the only places. Southern, Mississippi Valley State, TSU, Tennessee State University, Virginia State University, Howard, Hampton, Norfolk State University. These are places that we could get an education because we were denied everywhere else. So why are we not supporting these schools? Because it's more than just saying we're going to support them because they're black. So that's what you're saying? No, I'm saying support these schools because we still have many of our youth who are attending these schools who need to make sure that they get their education. These schools are not just a part of history. They are our legacy. These schools created some of the greatest people that have come across in entertainment, that have come across in athletics, that have come across in politics, political activists. And a lot of this is just ignored. And I don't understand why we would neglect our historical black colleges. Now, this is not saying anything against the other traditional colleges, but the fact of the matter is, regardless of what you think, historical black colleges are our home. It is your legacy because it set the tone for education that we could not have. And you got to understand that. Because when I told you about the Education Act, remember, it was in schools before 1964. That is not that long ago. That is not that long ago. So you got to understand something. We are just now getting the opportunity to do some of the things that we really wanted to do with our education. And we owe a lot of that to the historical black colleges who took in students, faculty, and staff, and that actually created an educational program that showed that we are smart, we're intelligent, that we can do anything that any other race could do. If there were no HBCUs, we would be so far behind the mark. But thank God for the investors, thank God for the religious organizations who work to put these schools together so that our ancestors, and our great grandmothers and great grandfathers could get on that road to having an education to show that, yes, African American blacks are intelligent. We can do the same math. We can speak the same English. We can do everything academically that any other race could do. HBCUs help to prove that by giving us an education. Now, some people say, well, now this is the thing I want to dispute right now. This is the biggest thing. Some people have said, well, if you go to an HBCU, after you graduate, you don't have a better chance at getting into sports or Olympics or athletics or entertainment because you don't really hear about big name people coming from HBCUs, historical black colleges, and being big time. Well, let me prove you wrong right now because let me go through this list, okay? Lance Gross went to Howard University. Oprah Winfrey graduated from Tennessee State University. Samuel L. Jackson graduated from Morehouse University. Taraji P. Henson graduated from Howard University. Spike Lee graduated from Morehouse University. 2 Chainz he went to Virginia State, then transferred and graduated from Alabama State University. Felicia Rashad graduated from Howard University. Debbie Allen graduated from Howard University. Wanda Sykes, the comedian, graduated from Hampton University. David Banner, the rapper, graduated from Southern University. Charles Oakley, the basketball player, graduated from Virginia Union. Shannon Sharp, you see him on ESPN First Take, played for the Denver Broncos, graduated from Savannah State. Stephen McNair graduated from Alcorn State. Andre Dawson graduated from Florida A&M. Althea Gibson graduated from Florida A&M. Michael Strahan graduated from Texas Southern. Walter Payton graduated from Jackson State, the sonic boom of the South. Then we got Jerry Rice, Mississippi Valley State. Doug Williams, Super Bowl winning quarterback from Grambling University. Wilma Rudolph, TSU, an Olympic champion, an iconic sports person internationally. Okay? Martin Luther King, Morehouse University. The people I just named are current, present, and past. All of these people, they are actors, they are tennis players, they are track runners, they are football players, basketball players, baseball players, political. So for you to tell me that going to an HBCU means you cannot succeed is wrong. absolutely wrong. Because with this list, I just covered pretty much every bit of the entertainment and political field. And so for you to think that you can't achieve because you went to an HBCU, no, baby, that is totally wrong. Going to an HBCU, you can achieve. Because the thing about an HBCU is you're going to get a sense of pride because you're going to understand your heritage. You're not just going to a college because of the name. When you go to an HBCU, there's more to just the building and the walls. It is the foundation that it was built on, why it sits there, traditions that you can't get anywhere place else, because the traditions at an HBCU for the Black and African American, it applies to your history, your heritage, your legacy. That's why it's important. But we're going to talk a little bit more about this because you know what? It's one thing about HBCUs today that we all talk about, and some people really seem to forget. That's the sports programs. Yes. You know, Alcorn State won the championship last year. How many people know that? All right. Now, one thing everybody does know about HBCUs is the bands. Okay. Like you said, we all know about the sonic booms of the South. We all know about the sounds of dynamite. Okay. We know about them. We know about the Florida A&M Rattlers. We know about the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. You know, the bands present musicianship and showmanship. When you watch the history of these bands, you got to realize something. Most of the traditional colleges and universities right now, who do you think they try to imitate? Where do you think they go for band camps? Why do you think whenever an HBCU plays a traditional college, it's always, hey, at the end of the game, can we kind of get together? They're taking notes from the HBCU. Those kids who work hard to put on a show, but still give you solid musicianship. But you know what? We're going to take a quick break and we're going to come right back and we're going to talk about this a little more because I need you guys, just like I'm doing, let's step up and let's support our HBCUs. We'll be right back.
We'll be back with your host, Reggie, on Simply Straight Talk.
There are so many talented young men and women attending our HBCUs. Don't you think it's time we show them our support? This year, Reggie will be highlighting HBCU bands, dance teams, and sports programs. And we are inviting you to show your love as well by attending games in your area. When you buy tickets to attend these events, you are helping to support not only the programs, but the great minds of our future generation as well. You're listening to the Simply Straight Talk Show, bringing you the best conversation on your morning, afternoon, and primetime drive.
Hey everybody, we're back for the second half of the show, and today we're talking about why, or we're basically asking the question, why are we not supporting our HBCUs? Now, here's the thing, because, you know, I'm going to get a little frustrated with this, and I'm going to try to keep it cool, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to try to keep it below 32, all right? So I don't make nobody mad, because I want you to understand my point. Like I said, I am not trying to knock the traditional schools, but I really want the African American and the Black community or anybody who can understand the importance of maintaining and sustaining the legacy of our history, because most of our history we don't have. So the HBCU community, those colleges, that is our legacy. And by getting more of our youth to attend an HBCU, then we are also helping to sustain our legacy, our history. Because I don't think people really grasp the understanding of by having HBCUs come up and given us a place to education, how much further that progressed us. You understand what I'm saying? Because you got to realize we were still dealing with segregation issues in the 1960s. There was no attempt to give us an education. And many places were forced to set aside land for HBCUs to educate the slaves after they were supposedly free. But that's a whole nother subject. But the thing about it is, when we talk about HBCUs, we're talking about the history of African Americans being able to get an education, and not only get an education, but show that our intellect is still worthy and we can match any other race. It wasn't that we were trying to say, hey, we're better than you. We were trying to say that we are the same as you. We have the same mental capacity to academically achieve just like you can. We can contribute. We have the understanding, the ability to comprehend, to build, to construct, to strategize, to create logistical plans to help this country move forward. HBCUs show that we have that in our race. But why are we not supporting our HBCUs? Now, there was one lady on YouTube, and she made the comment that, HBCUs, it was really stupid. She was just saying like, when you go to HBCU, there's crime, there's this. Listen, I was a director of campus safety at a traditional white college. And let me tell you something. There is more crime in these white colleges. So it doesn't matter what college you go to, you're going to have some crime, because you just can't control how a kid acts. So you're going to have some crime in every college. There is not one single college, university in the United States of America that does not have some drugs, that does not have some alcohol, that does not have parties, that does not have fights, that does not have disagreements, where some students are happy, some students are not. So for someone to say that HBCUs or try to portray an HBCU college university like it is the stigma of that type of mentality on the campus is a lie, and it is a falsehood, because every college deals with its own issues. We've heard about rape allegations at other colleges, sexual assaults at other colleges. It happens. It happens. I'm not going to sit here and deny that, HBCUs are exempt from that. No, it happens at every college. But I think the important thing that we really have to remember is this. We have to understand that we are losing our HBCUs. Earlier in the show, I was telling you about Bennett College, and Bennett College is going through some financial struggles. And there was a lot of issues when the Parent Plus loan was, it was sort of modified, and it made it difficult for more students to be able to attend HBCUs. So now we have to find a way to get our students to understand that you can still get a great education at an HBCU. You can still get the same nursing. They have the same programs as the other colleges. You can get your doctorate degree, your master's degree, your bachelor's degree. You can become a lawyer. You can become a doctor. You become a scientist, an archaeologist, a geologist. You can do all of these things at an HBCU. You can get that education. You can become a success story from attending an HBCU. But the difference is you're going to have more of a cultural experience of being able to see and work along with peers. Some like you, some not like you. But you're going to have that experience. And the one thing I love about at HBCUs is it celebrates its tradition. It celebrates its founding. It doesn't try to hide it. The college I worked at, which was a traditional white college, they have been around for 100 years. But they really work hard to hide the racism and discrimination that took place on that campus, the killing of a black male in one of the dorms. You know, at one time there was a protest when the black students tried to go to the college. There was actually a protest where they held up white boards saying that this is the preferred color of our college, you know. So now you have a chance to attend an HBCU and actually understand what it means to get that education. Learn about that HBCU. And when you really, I'm serious, I really want you to start, like, just look up Shaw, look up Prairie View, look up Grambling, Southern. Look at the history of these colleges and understand what they are really about. It is amazing. And the stories are inspirational. So you can get a great education. Now, let's move to what some people probably are waiting on, which is the band program. The bands for HBCUs are world renowned. They are world renowned, hands down. When you talk about Grambling, when you talk about the Prairie View Marching Storm, when you talk about Jackson State University, when you hear Get Ready, you already know the sonic boom is getting ready to come out. You got the sounds of dynamite. You know what I'm saying? So you have bands that are just outstanding. If you have never been to an HBCU football game and actually had a chance to watch these bands on the field, it is absolutely amazing. And truthfully, you'll probably find people gathering around waiting to see the bands come in. Even when the game is over, people are still waiting outside to see the bands leave. These kids in these bands, the dance team, the flag girls, the drum line, the drum majors, they work incredibly hard. This is not just a 1-2 hour practice a day. You have to be in shape to be a part of this band. But they have an excellent band program. And I really love the fact that, yes, you get a chance to actually dance, you get a chance to play popular music, but it is about musicianship. You know, because when I talk about people, when me and the fellows or whatever, we're talking about bands, we're talking about the HBCU bands. My thing is, I think the band with the most precision, hands down to me, is Bethune-Cookman. Second, Norfolk State University. I mean, that's my choice, but everybody got theirs. But you're going to fall in love with what they do, and you're going to respect what these kids are doing on the field. Not also to mention the athletic programs, football, basketball, tennis, baseball, track. These students are amazing, and we should be supporting them. We should be pushing them further, because here's my thing. If you can spend money and talk about Georgia University, Notre Dame, Texas Longhorns, UCLA, Ohio, all of these other schools from the Big Ten, the ACC, the SEC, and you never attended those schools. These are schools that once rejected you. Now, I understand. I know that now it is a different day and age regarding these schools and how their acceptance is a little different. But the thing about it is, you know, there's a lot of people who support those schools and never attended those schools. And I'm not knocking that. You support who you want to support. But my thing is, why would you not support an HBCU? If you know that Prairie View and Grambling, or Jackson State and Grambling, Talladega and Fort Valley are going to be playing, Florida A&M versus Bethune-Cookman, go to some of these games, man. Let's help support these kids. Let's help support our HBCUs. You can donate to our HBCUs. We need to keep these schools around, because this is our legacy. This is our tradition. This is our history. And truthfully, many of our younger generation cannot learn true African-American Black history unless they go to a school that is like a HBCU, where you truly understand. Because, like I said, these schools are built on what we could not have, which is an education. So they take pride in it. There's tradition behind it. We need to support these schools because by supporting these schools, we're supporting our youth. By supporting our youth, we're saying that we want you to go out and prosper, that we're proud of the people that actually took the time to invest and build these schools and start these schools. We need to hold on to what they started. And I think a lot of times we're letting go too easy of the things that we started from because we're settling for what other people have. We need to take pride in our HBCUs. Like I said, I'm not trying to knock any other college. I'm not trying to knock any other division, any of that stuff. But what I'm saying is there's nothing wrong with us taking pride in our HBCUs. Absolutely nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with you taking your child saying, hey, listen, you want to go to a college football game? Let's go and see, Florida A&M. Let's go and see Bethune-Cookman. Whatever college is in your area, a HBCU, take your child to see it. Let them experience the Honda Battle of the Bands. Let them experience an HBCU. You might find that your child is like, wow, so I can go play in a band, play popular music, and learn true musicianship. I can actually go to an HBCU and learn about my history, learn about me. Do you understand that African-American Black kids really grasp more when they're learning about themselves, when they feel connected to what they're learning? And oftentimes the education system is not centered around that. But at an HBCU, you can get that tradition of heritage and legacy to help you grow and to help a young mind embrace the fact that I have a history. There is a legacy, that my history does not start when slavery started. And this is something that many of our young generation need to know. HBCUs can help you do that. Hey, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Free your mind, free your voice right here on Simply Straight Talk.
Hey, are you looking for some great music, upbeat and with a positive voice? Well, the song I Stand With You is exactly what you need. This timeless song has a pop version sung by Audrey Carmel. And a reggae version sung by General Steele, now known as Revelation.
Now I know some days you may feel blue, Lord. Trust in your greatness to see you through.
These songs are now available on iTunes and other digital platforms for download. Don't miss out. Get your copy today.
Give life your best, and I know.
We're back with the conversation starter and the voice that works harder. Your host, Reggie.
Hey everybody, welcome back for the final thoughts of today's show. And today we were talking about why are we not supporting our HBCUs. Now, I hope I gave you some good things to think about when it comes to HBCUs, historical Black colleges. I hope I destroyed some of the myths, and I hope I made you kind of reconsider and take a look at, is worth supporting. And you heard me use the words legacy, heritage, history a lot. Because that's really what it is. And despite the fact that we are losing our HBCUs because of, lack of students going, because of false assumptions about them, we need to support our HBCUs. We need to support our young students, our young king and queens, our young future generation who are going to get an education, who are valuing the tradition of our history and taking that and setting their mark to make an impact on this world. We need to support them. You can support them by going to the games. If you want to donate, visit my website, rmviagem.com, rmviagem, and in the top right-hand corner, you'll see a HBCU donate button, which will take you to a site where you can donate. Also, Tom Joyner has a site where you can donate. You can donate directly to some of the colleges. If you have a particular college you want to donate, the link on my site also is the same thing. You can donate to in general, or you can donate to a specific college university. But let's definitely make an effort to support our HBCUs. Let's not lose any more of our heritage, our tradition, our legacy. Our ancestors worked hard for something that we have the right to have now, that they had to fight for. They died for. And this is for anybody. HBCUs have scholarships. They have opportunities for everybody, regardless of your race or gender. So make sure, check into an HBCU, learn about an HBCU, understand the tradition and how it impacts you, how it should inspire you. So make sure you do that, guys. And come to think of it, in a couple of weeks, we got football season is going to be kicking off for our HBCUs. We got Prairie View that's going to be kicking off. Oh, my God, don't kill me. Prairie View is one of my favorite schools, man, especially with the band. So, you got J5, the Sonic Boom, the Sounds of Dynamite, Florida A&M Rattlers, Delaware, you know what I'm saying? So we got some great schools that are going to be kicking off the football season. And what I'm going to do is on the website, you'll see me doing updates. Also on the YouTube channel, I'm going to be covering some of these football games. I'm going to do reaction videos, man, to some of the halftime performances. I really want us to do our best to promote and help support these young men and women and support our HBCU schools. And hey, if you subscribe to the show, I will send you, okay? I will buy your tickets so you can go to an HBCU football game, basketball game. I will send you to the game. I will pay for your ticket, okay? Let's get that clear. I'm going to pay for your ticket to the game. Up to 4 people, I will pay for your ticket. So if you subscribe to the show, I'll do a drawing, and if your name is picked, then guess what? I'm going to send 4 people. I will pay for 4 tickets, and you get this straight. I will pay for 4 tickets for you and 3 of your friends to go to the game, okay? So I will pay for the tickets for you to get into the game. And I might even throw a little food, something in there. I don't know. But for right now, I'm definitely going to pay for the tickets. If you sign up, subscribe to the show, if your name is picked, then I will get you 4 tickets to the game. Okay? So, hey, thank you for joining us today. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. And please, 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 I didn't mean to offend anybody. I hope I didn't. But I wanted to be 100% as real and keep this conversation as straight and real as possible. You know what I'm all about, man. 100% straight talk. So I want to keep it real with you, 100% of how I feel and what I think. Like I said, this is not meant to degrade or back talk the other schools. Any education is great, but I'm right now pushing for the fact that we need to support our HBCUs because we're about to lose them. Hey, thank you for joining us, and make sure you come back and check us out next week.
That's this week's episode. Thank you for listening and being a part of the Simply Straight Talk podcast. We truly appreciate your support. Be sure to visit us at simplystraighttalk.com to join the conversation, access show notes, and discover our fantastic bonus content on Patreon. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to join us next week for another episode.